welcome so much for choosing to join me in my video today. My name is Billy Joe. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. So this pick a card reading I titled it Weeds because it is actually a shadow work pick a card reading. And the reason why I called it weed is because, when you're tending your garden, you want to pluck the weeds out so it doesn't strangle all the rest of the flowers in your garden and the bushes and everything you're trying to actually grow. The weeds can actually take over. But when you're looking at it from a perspective of shadow work, the thing is with shadow work, that is what we consider the dark side of our persona, of our characteristics, our personality, our inner beings. And it's the parts of ourselves that we don't really like, that we try to put behind us because they're not considered by society or by our peers or by even ourselves as being blessings, right? They're the not good parts of ourselves. However, you have to learn how to embrace your light and your dark, your light and your shadow. You have to embrace yourself fully. You have to learn to love yourself fully. So when you're dealing with weeds like dandelions, fleabane, white clover, those are just a few that we know grow in our yards all the time, right? Especially during the spring and the summer months. And it's like, oh my gosh, they're overtaking our yard, right? But if you harvest these, they have beneficial benefits for you. Just like your shadow side is part of you. It's essential to accept part of yourself. There's reasons why you have the shadow aspects to your personality. And just like, for example, dandelion, white clover, both of those can be used for inflammation. They can be used for different weeds. What we call weeds can be used for spiritual work, be used for especially like in different types of spiritual communities, witchcraft communities, even some Wiccans. I'm not Wiccan, but I do spell work, most of you know. And a lot of my work, like for example, I use different roots and herbs, and I use even some what we consider weeds. So that way, for example, for my mother's asthma, for inflammation, for any kind of breathing disorders, for antiseptic reasons. So just like we, typically view weeds as bad to have a weed in your garden, it's going to smother everything else. Well, yeah, if you don't tend your garden, but there's necessary for all aspects within yourself, and learning how to accept ourselves, even our shadow. It's like even with the weeds, once we learn how to accept all aspects of ourselves and realize what those aspects are good for, then we can accept ourselves 100%. And a lot of times when I'm doing shadow work, a client will ask me, okay, well, you're telling me what for example, if I'm doing shadow work for trauma from the past, they're like, well, what was that good? What was that good for that I went through that? Well, number one, you wouldn't be the person you are today if you had not experienced that. And I know that comment is going to trigger a lot of people. But here's the thing. If you are triggered, then that's good. That's a very good thing. Because if you're triggered, if you stop and think, wow, this is really getting to me. This really bothers me deep down in my core. Why is it bothering me? What is it showing me that I need to heal, that I still need to heal something from this? And that is why we do shadow work. So this pick a card reading, I want you to always remember, all pick a cards are general readings, okay? So take what messages resonate with you and let the rest go. If it don't apply, let it fly. And always remember, I know a lot of you who's been with me for a long time, I always tell you, especially with the adult pick cards, If it don't fit, don't force it to fit, because we don't have enough lube for that. Okay? So I have 4 piles for you today. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. If you need more time at this point, you can always pause the video. You can use a pendulum, or you can meditate. I do have a singing bowl that I used to use at the beginning of my videos, but I guess I need to do that again, where you can pause and you can meditate, and then when you open your eyes, the pile that you're drawn to will be yours. However it resonates with you, however you like to get prepared. For me, I always, as soon as if I want to pick a card, I go with my first instinct, the first one I'm drawn to when I first see it come up. So however you like to go with it, let's just meet you at your pile. Timestamps are in the description box, as well as how you can get your own personal reading. Thank you so much. I will meet you there. Hello, pile 1. So you chose this stone. This is the deck called the Crystals the Stone deck. Of course, I'll show that at the end of the reading after all the piles. But this that you chose is pyrite. What it is, it says pyrite, aka fool's gold, is a metallic sulfide mineral. Its blingy, confident vibes and often perfect cubic structure align us with nature's power to give energy to amazing, beautiful things. Like you, baby. Who needs it? The chronically lethargic. Anybody sleeping on their potential. Where to put it? Pyrite is often used near the solar plexus or will center, but it works wonders anywhere you need a little boost of masculine energy. For example, on the fellas, the low abdomen, just saying. When to use it? On that romantic weekend away from the kids, and whenever the energy to power through feels shrouded in dark matter. Call on your core power. So I have a pyrite. Get it out here. Oops. Move some other stones to get to it. Here we go. And here is my pyrite here. I'm going to stick it up here just so you can see it. Didn't think to do that for this reading, but there you go. So we're going to stick this right here. I think I'm going to put the description box like this. The description. Okay. So, which cards did you get? We have number 9, Envious Gluttony. Remember, if you get triggered during this reading, it's actually a good thing. It helps you work on things on yourself. Number 14, which breaks into number 5, Duke of Shadows. Number 24, Lantern Fairy, a clear solution. The number 29, Shallow Grave, you miss someone. King of Swords. The Ace of Wands in reverse. The 3 of Cups. So we have more cards here. I'm just going to set them to the side. Okay, so with Envious Gluttony. So look at this card. This card it brings up uncomfortable feelings, a darkness within yourself, things that you don't like about yourself. Of course, that's shadow work, right? Now this card goes really deep, and in the book it says, you know, that there's this unpleasantness, like a sickly, unpleasant, like something that you're not happy about yourself. It's where you know, sometimes where you demean yourself. It talks about, of course, gluttony. You know, it's like a depth, a seed that's been planted through anger and enviousness. You know, you don't want to feel it. You want to cast it out, you know, because it's such a raw, primal feeling of this dark pit inside of your stomach, and you just don't want to feel it anymore. You know, like dark tar, like a starved feeling. So it's like, if you're going to resonate with this, it's like this darkness inside of you that, from whether that started from, you know, being envious of somebody, or because you got so angry with somebody that it just planted that seed of darkness within you, and you really don't like that about yourself. And it's just left you feeling raw. And then we have number 14, Duke of Shadows. So the Duke of Shadows is actually, it's actually a pretty good card to have. The Duke of Shadows is extremely cunning, very helpful in discerning truth from lie. But the Duke of Shadows often talks about things that's left unknown, things that, you know, you may be in, you know, cautionary about. And that you just, but in truth, just like that anger you have seated inside of you, it's like, be more curious about it. Look at it more, you know, it's not just this ugly nastiness, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a process here. And that anger, that thing that you feel inside of you, you just want to get rid of, you want to release it. But actually, it's teaching you how to discern truth from lies. And it's telling you that it's not a failure on your part. You're not a failure. It's just, you're going through the process of, you know, allowing your dreams to come into reality. And sometimes those seeds get planted, and it sounds ugly to say that, right? Because we're so trained to say, you know, you have to be love and light, but we're not all 100 love and light. Sometimes we see something we want, or we get angry at somebody. Maybe we're even hurt so bad by another person's actions or words, or betrayal, that it becomes a dark seed inside of us. But actually, it's teaching you so that you don't go through that again. You have the Lantern Fairy. Now, this is a clear solution. It talks about, you know, to me, it's telling me you're finding your light through that darkness. She has that lantern. Look, she has these little dark wings on her, and she's finding her way to the light through that darkness, through that dark period. She's finding which way she needs to go. She talks about old patterns of behavior, healing those. You know, we tend to repeat the old same patterns of behavior. And it's like, we're like, why do we keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again? But she tells you that you're finding a solution to breaking that pattern. And then we have the number 29, Shallow Grave. You miss someone. To me, this card talks about, sorry, my light is getting a little, okay, let's see if you can see better that way. So, Shallow Grave, it says you miss someone. But when I see this card, what I'm thinking about is, you know, when you just really loved something or someone or a situation so much that when that situation ended, you didn't want to let it go. Like, you keep on thinking, why can't things be like the good old days? Why can't things be like they used to be? I just want to go back to the way it used to be. But the way it used to be is dead. It's gone. It no longer serves you. is not good for you anymore. And that's why you're finding your way out of that darkness. You're finding a better way for yourself through the situation that you've been through. We have the King of Swords, which tells me truth has been revealed to you. You know, there's been, for some of you, you may have went through some divorce. You may have had situations with authorities, with authoritative figures. The King of Swords is, to me, has to do with, of course, swords is communication. King of Swords is the ultimate authority, whether that has to do with law, religion, whatever that may be for you. But it's the more logical of all the cards is the swords. So there's something about the situation that has taught you a great deal. And it's followed by the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, for me, the Ace of Swords is, you see how it's the spark. It's that spark of a new beginning. It's where that new beginning is not where the thought is planted, is not where the seed has been planted. It's the spark of life where that idea has went into motion. It's actually flamed into life, like lighting a matchstick, and the flame busts into light. That's the Ace of Wands. So it's like something has happened to blow your light out, to extinguish that flame that you worked so hard, you thought so hard, you thought diligently, you worked all the kinks out on how to bring it to life, and then right before it was lit, it was snuffed out. And then it's followed by the Three of Cups, which tells me it quite possibly, but it could have been snuffed out, had to do something to do with a deep friendship. Maybe for some of you is something you was going to celebrate, like a graduation or a wedding, or the birth of a child, but something happened that ended that life for you. I'm seeing many different situations. For example, someone who's wanted children all their lives, always wanted children so desperately, has went through fertility clinics, has went through the processes, and then was so happy to find out that was maybe finally pregnant, or they finally found a solution they thought was going to work for them, only for it to be snuffed out and be told, no, you're not going to be able to have children. Or was going to graduate, was finally going to get to the last semester before you got your bachelor's degree, your doctorate degree, or that promotion you wanted. And then right at the last chance, your funds were swiped away from you, where you didn't get to go to that last semester. You didn't get to graduate. You didn't get the promotion. Something happened, and it caused this dark pit inside yourself. And you hate feeling that way. You don't like feeling like that. It makes you feel like there's this dark inkness inside of you, in the pit of your stomach. And you want so bad to release it. Well, guess what? You're almost there. But it's taught you, the whole point of this reading is that you know that it has taught you a valuable lesson. A very valuable lesson. So let's get some more cards here. We have number 5, sadness. So what this tells me with the sadness card is one of the ways for you to best relieve pent up anger, guess what? You have to purge it. And one of the best ways to purge this is to cry. Crying, I mean the deep sob cry where you got snot bubbles coming out and you got splotches all over. I mean the mean and ugly cry where you're really releasing it and your whole body is shaking and that is purging, honey. That's purging. Let it go. Let it go. What's that song with that Ice Princess? My granddaughter was watching it a while back. Anyways, so you have to purge all that. And when you cry, it is your soul's way of physically releasing all that pent up emotion. We have awareness. Live in the moment. Be cautious of your thoughts. Look for signs and guidance. So I really believe this card is letting you know that Be aware. Number one, be aware of how you can heal this, is where this actually took root at. Look at it and take it out and look at it and say, okay, I know where this stemmed from. And I know I need to release it. I have to let it go. But I am aware that this lesson has served a purpose in my life. And even though it's hard to accept that it has served a purpose, I accept that it has served its purpose. We have compassion. Be gentle with yourself. That is so important. Forgiveness will set you free. Set the light in yourself and others. Forgive yourself and forgive the others as well. Have that compassion for yourself, the situation, and any other people involved. My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So this is the universe has your back deck, and these are good affirmations for you to repeat to yourself. If you wanted to screenshot it, and you can, a thing that I like to do is I like to write affirmations on my mirror, my bathroom mirror, so that way in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm getting ready for work, I'm looking in there and I'm repeating in my head, and then I repeat out loud. Like if this was my affirmation, I'd repeat to myself, my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. I know that what is meant for me will find a way. Your next affirmation has, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Then we have, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. Now a love note from the universe. We have, it's not as if you need anyone. For as long as you wish to keep them in your life, whoever they may be, understanding them as opposed to changing them will wildly improve the chances that they'll wish to keep you in their life. On the other hand, you're pretty much stuck with me. Oh wow, how I love you, the universe. Change is always good. Actually, the only effective way of changing another person is by changing yourself. Works every time, guaranteed. Though I'm kind of partial to the way you are right now. Tally-ho, the universe. Love doesn't have to mean near. Some are better loved at a distance, for a while anyway, and that's okay. Besides, love doesn't really know the difference. Tally-ho, the universe. I love these little notes. They're so cute. And then we have transformation, the phoenix. Do know that you are going through a transformation, and that these changes are very good for you. And that the one thing to remember about a phoenix is that, and I heard this somewhere, I don't even remember where I heard it, but it actually resonated with me so much. The phoenix has to fight its way out of the fire, out of the flames. We know that it rises from the ashes, but what we don't ever realize is how hard it has to struggle. Sometimes it tries to fly up from the flames and the ashes many times before it actually succeeds. You are the phoenix. That this transformation, it may feel like you've tried over and over and over again, but you are going to be successful. It is going to happen. You are going through this change. And when you come out of this change as the phoenix, guess what? You're going to make it through all that and never have to be struck down again. You're going to be able to look at this situation, and anytime anything similar to this comes about again, you're going to have the discernment to be able to protect yourself. Okay? Thank you so much. I hope it resonated with you. Many, many blessings. Namaste. Hello, pile number 2. So if you chose this pile, this stone, this is jasper. What it is, jasper describes a huge variety of opaque quartz stones. From Picasso jasper, I'm gonna be prolific, to mookaite jasper. I'm gonna lay low and power up, to red jasper. You're gonna want to move out of my way. These earthly babies help align us to our core powers. Who needs it? Air signs and city folk. Where to put it? Wherever you are when you'd rather be barefoot, pulling vibes from the earth below. Think white sand, green grass, yoga mat. When to use it? When you want to get back into your body after a stressful work week, a long flight, or a lit meditation session. Strengthen your foundation. So set that here, and I actually have a piece of jasper here. So this is my jasper, and I am going to set it right here. So let's look and see what we have for you to work with your weeds, your shadow work. So we have the number 26, peaceful among thorns. Number 29, Joker is wild. Number 3, Sea Beacon Fairy, guidance, but where will it lead you? We have the King of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Two of Swords. And then these cards I'm just going to set over here for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so number 26 can be broken down into the number 8, peaceful among thorns. So this card talks about, the dark side. Of course, we're talking about our shadow work here, and working with our weeds instead of trying to completely demolish them, right? So this card talks about when we become too spiritual. So I'm going to go ahead with this card and just kind of read to you from the book what it says, because intuitively I'm picking up something else. But just in case that the card's traditional meaning fits with you, I'm going to go with that as well. So it says, of course, the sentence says, coexistence of the material and the spiritual is the human way to enlightenment. So that's something you have to remember. You have to be spiritual amongst the physical world. You have to coexist equally. So the dark part of this talks about, we talk too much about spiritual stuff, spiritual that, spiritual this. Not that the spiritual side isn't important, especially in an age when everything seems reduced to a materialistic drive. But aren't we going too much on the other side? I have a money problem, go spiritual. I have a health problem, go spiritual. I have a love problem. Think of true love and go spiritual. I want to have sex, go spiritual. If we were truly able to solve problems like this, what is spiritual would have been sold in grocery stores. Sometimes to solve money problems, you need money. And to solve love problems, you need to fuck. Strange, but true. I'm just reading that out of the book, so it's not my potty language, which I do have a potty mouth. I'll make that clear now. But the potty mouth is actually the book. It's strange but true. Getting spiritual is not what solves our problems. It is what gives depth to our solutions. It makes them meaningful. It takes us from the small to the wide, from the river to the ocean. But sometimes we are not ready to make it our center, and therefore it's perfectly fine if we don't. So now that you know what the book says, what I'm intuitively picking up, especially with the other cards it's laid about here, is that you are trying to find peace amongst many thorns. You may feel like you have oppositions coming at you. You may be going through a spiritual awakening, and you're starting to recognize all the things about yourself that's not completely all love and light, right? And you may feel like you got all these thorns that you've got to pluck out, you've got to get rid of to make yourself perfect love and light. It doesn't work that way, boo-boo. And, also, as far as being shrouded and around people, for example, if you go to work, when you leave your house every day, your house is your sanctuary. It's your peace. It's your home. You make it, where you feel safe. And when you leave out that door every day, sometimes it feels like you're facing a battlefield. And many times you really are. In the workplace, it is a battlefield. And so you feel like you're surrounded in thorns. But it's followed by Joker as well. Guess what? Joker is the highest trump of all, meaning you're always going to come out on top. This universe has your back. Spirit has your back. Just remember that even in the material world, the spiritual world is like they're entwined. And as above, so below, as within, so without. So what happens in the heavenlies happens down here in the physical world as well. What happens within you happens on the outer world as well. So as you try to come into union with your light and shadow aspects, then the rest inside yourself, the rest of the world on the outside, is going to be a lot more easier for you to handle. We have the number 3, which is the Sea Beacon Fairy. It says guidance, but where will it lead you? So this card talks about, and I love this deck, it's so cute, but it talks about this fairy whose light leads you out of the storms, out of the hard, dark situations. But sometimes she's questioning, am I leading them out of the storm or to crash against the cliffs, to crash against, what are they called? I forgot. Anyways, but leading them to safety or leading them to doom. And I feel like sometimes you may question yourself, especially if you are a spiritual leader, or if you're someone, for example, someone who does what I do and has TikTok or YouTube, or there's lots of us in this community who actually, now I don't, but I know lots of people in this community who have their own web pages, and they offer healing guidance sessions, things like that. And this resonates very much strongly with maybe one of those people, leaders in the spiritual world, who sometimes question themselves. Am I actually doing the right thing? Am I actually leading people to making better choices? Or am I leading them astray? It's kind of like, for example, someone who has been raised Christian all their life and then transverts into a spiritualist. And you may question, am I leading people correctly, or am I leading them away from God? It's that kind of, I'm not saying that's what you're doing or what you're fighting, but it's that same type of energy as, am I doing the right thing? And you're questioning yourself, but guess what? You're doing everything right, because Joker Wild is here. You should find peace. You should know that you are doing the right thing. Your biggest challenge with your shadow is questioning yourself. And that's because you went through so much of your own. And these cards is what tells me that. We have the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups, excuse me, I got a little cold. The King of Cups is someone who has control of his emotions. He does not allow his emotions to control him. And he doesn't always reveal his heart on his sleeve. He feels his heart deeply, but yet he's mastered them to the point that he doesn't show it to other people. The King of Cups is someone who's extremely compassionate. So this tells me that you're probably very compassionate. You mean well for others. You don't mean any ill towards anybody. But sometimes you do question because you are still learning things still as you go. And it's a continuous learning our whole life. That's one thing you should understand. Our whole life is a learning journey. And you understand that you are still learning things. You are still learning from the heartbreak that you've suffered. Look, we have a Three of Swords here. You have suffered tremendous heartbreak. And then, not only that, but look at the burdens you've carried from the heartbreak. But the Ten of Wands lets me know this agony, this suffrage, these burdens, they're coming to an end. Because 10 is the closing of a cycle. And so now you're at a place, it's like a crossroads, the Two of Swords, trying to decide what option should you take, which route should you take. Should I be this way or should I be that? Well, guess what? You can be both. You can do both. It's within you to come into union with yourself so that you can embrace yourself fully and embrace what you feel is your calling. You know, I'm being told to tell you, you know what your calling is. You know what brings you peace, what brings you happiness. It's not confusion. This confusion is not for you. You've been trying to find your peace, and your peace is coming. You know how to do this. You know how to lead others. And you know that you can have it all. It's all up to you. So now let's get the rest of these cards here. So we have number 2, self-sabotage. Just what we was talking about. You know that talks about sabotaging yourself, doubting yourself, thinking, sometimes where you procrastinate, you keep putting it off because you're like, I don't know if I'm really worthy of doing this. I don't know if I have what it means. It's that negative Nancy voice in your head that's making you doubt your path and your journey. And you have to learn to recognize that for what it is. That is what holds you back. We have anger. Safely express your anger. Use anger as a positive force. Honor all of your emotions as sacred. So even when you're upset with yourself, or say an opportunity passed you by because you kept on questioning your worthiness, it's okay to be angry with yourself. It's okay to express your anger, and to use your anger in a positive way. There's situations you can do that. For example, when someone's taking advantage of you, be angry about it. You don't have to always be light and love. You can be angry. It's okay to be angry, but express that anger in the right way. Like, don't go out and be chopping people up. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You know better than that. Don't be fist fighting, but you can express your anger in productive ways. You can, think on it. You can communicate. But you don't have to hate. Like, don't hate yourself. Don't hate your journey. Just, use it to recognize what you're trying to heal, to recognize your value and who you are, because you are a sovereign being. You are worthy of so much. Stop questioning yourself. I know sometimes it's hard, feeling like we're not worthy because of the pain we've been through. You've probably been told that you wasn't worthy. You may have been thrown away. You may feel like someone just tossed you aside like trash, and it's made you feel like you're unworthy. But guess what? It's okay to be angry at that person, because you're not trash. You are not trash. You are an amazing, wonderful, vibrant person. You're very passionate. I know you're passionate because you got the anger card. You're extremely passionate. You love hard and you love deep. So you are worthy. The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. So, it's not what you think you need, it's what you actually, it's like that saying that not all truths are truthful. You know, we have our own truths, but our truths may not be the divine truth. There is a difference. So just because you think you need something doesn't mean you absolutely need it. Like you may think, I don't think I can do this, so I think I'm going to settle for something else instead. I think I'm going to do that because I think I need to do that. No, you need to do what you were called to do. I recognize that I have chosen fear, and I choose again. I choose love. Enjoy your extraordinary uniqueness. Do you know what you've created? No, besides an intergalactically known centaur named after you. Inspiration in the eyes that have watched you. Hope in the minds that have admired you. And love in the hearts that have known you. But you might ease up on your sachet before someone gets hurt. Not bad, kiddo. Not bad at all, the universe. Affirmations. So when I see this card, it tells me that you're probably someone who, teaches positive affirmations. You may make YouTube recordings of positive affirmations for others to hear. You may teach about high vibrational music, beats. Most of all, when I see this, and not only that, but the chakra healing, you may be called to do some Reiki healing. Most importantly, what I see, do you want to know what I see when I look at this card? Someone who knows how to speak the language of light language. And that is a very important calling. I really always thought that was very important. I've never known how to do that. I would love to, but I feel like you're someone who does know how to express light language and change. So when I see this card, this lets me know that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what season it is, there's a season and a time for everything. And now is your time. It is your time to do what you know you've been called to do. So your shadow work, what I feel your shadow is your own negative voice from pains in your past that you are healing. You are healing them, and you're just about there. But you still have that little feeling of unworthiness. So what I feel is best for you personally, what I'm picking up is for you to continue your journey, for you to continue your work. Because just like with any teacher, you're learning from your students just as much as they learn from you. You are doing an amazing, amazing job. So I hope this resonated. Thank you so much for watching. Many, many blessings. Bye-bye. Hello, those of you that chose pile option number 3. So this stone right here, this is bloodstone. Now with the other piles, I've been finding my other stones and setting it up here so you can see it. Unfortunately, I don't have my bloodstone because my cat Nyx has taken a liking to the bloodstone and she has swiped it. I'm constantly telling her, swiper, no swiping. I don't know if y'all ever watched Dora. I have kids and grandkids, so bloodstone is one of the ones that she has swiped from me. And most of the time I find her collection underneath my bed, but I didn't dig under my bed before doing this reading. So bloodstone, what it is. Bloodstone is an earthy green chalcedony spattered with seriously activating red jasper. In the Middle Ages, some believed the red splotches on the stone's surface were the blood of Christ. Who needs it? The constantly overworked and completely drained by the soul-sucking machinations, whatever, of modern life. You know I didn't say that right. Capricorns. Where to put it? Wherever you do the important work, spiritual, physical, and psychological. When to use it? When you're totally bled dry and it's time to get into your body and start feeling your damn self. Sleep, get some exercise, take nourishment, and call on Bloodstone to drag your ass out of the house to face the day. Chin up, head high, power up your vitals. So, of course, I'm sorry I don't have the stone to show you. So let's see what your cards are, what you're working on with your shadow. So we have the number 3, obsession. Number 24, which can break into number 6, pinhead punchinello. Hello, Nyx. There she is right there. There's the swiper. Get off my card, boo-boo. Okay, thank you, baby. And you have the number 23, which breaks into number 5, Violet Angel, Breaking Dawn. Hey, hey, hey. Boo-boo. We have the Emperor, the 4 of Wands, and the 4 of Pentacles. And these cards I'm just going to set to the side, okay? So, first of all, because you got Bloodstone, I know that you've been working really, really hard. You have been focused, driven, obsessed with whatever you're working hard on. Whether that is on a romantic relationship or a work endeavor, but you've been completely focused. So I'm going to read it like I was talking to myself. The reason why I say that is because, now look, quit swiping. You're swiping more stones. Go, no. She just took off with another one. My goodness. What am I going to do with you, Nyx? Okay. So when I was shuffling out the different piles, this is the one that I focused my energy into. So if you chose this one too and it resonates with you, guess what? We're in the same boat. So, and it does fit because I feel like I've been working really hard and I feel like that doesn't even get recognized. And work so much that I haven't really been able to focus on my YouTube or TikToks. And it's gotten to where I'm obsessed. And like, I work so hard that when I come home, I'm drained. I want to go straight to bed. I get off work at 5. And I promise you, I get home by 5:30. By 5:40, I am asleep. And as soon as I get up, I'm at it again. I go get ready for work. I go to work and I'm like, I get up and I'm going. So you may resonate with this pile. So for shadow work, of course, what I'm hearing is my head is you're burning the candle at both ends. And I'm sure you probably heard the same thing before as well. So, and I just saw 444 as I was saying that. So, confirmation, right? So, trying to find stability, trying to be stable. I think everything's about to get better now for me, but let's just go ahead and see what this is about. Also, I do know that when I get my mind set on something, I can't let it go. I cannot. I will stick to that one thing no matter, with the next card, how many options come up for me. And that's probably for you too. The Pinhead Puncholino talks about me having many different options and not really knowing which one to take. So I know right now I have some big decisions that I have to make, and I don't even want to think about it because I I just want to focus on what I'm focusing on right now. And I know for you, you quite possibly may as well. And then in the process, it seems like there's other options coming up, other choices you need to make. It just feels like a pesky fly with all these options that you don't even want to deal with right now. You just kind of want to put it to the side. But when this card comes up, it lets you know that the universe is going to help you make those decisions. They're going to help enlighten you as to what decision is best for you. And with the Violet Angel here, Breaking Dawn, this lets me know that the darkness is abating. The hard times are going away. That difficultness is going to lighten up. The load is going to lighten up. And the difficult time is coming to an end. You know, the light at the end of the tunnel. So we have the Emperor. So the Emperor, lots of times could be your boss. For me, it quite possibly be. It could be the divine masculine energy, the work energy. He's all about making plans, sticking to them, and making things get done. This is the King of all kings. You know, he is the King of Wands, the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and which one did I miss? King of Swords. So, yeah. He's all logic. He's all business. Gonna get shit done. And it's followed by the Four of Wands. So, some happy news is on the way. Some stability is on the way. You've worked really hard. The stability is coming. Financial breakthroughs are coming in. Four of Pentacles talks about, a lot of times, a lot of people, especially if it comes to love, they're talking about stinginess and greed. But it also talks about, especially if it's followed by a good card like this, I'm seeing this as being frugal, saving money, learning how to invest it. Maybe a raise coming in for some of you. Would love it if a raise was coming for me. Maybe a better position offering will be coming in. Your hard work that you've been so focused on is actually coming, you know, it's exhausting, it's tiring, and it feels like shadow work because you're exhausted. But blessings are coming out of it. So it's actually a good thing. It's supposed to be talking about things you're supposed to be healing from. Maybe you're a workaholic. I know I tend to be a workaholic. People don't realize it unless they're around me. I know the people that work with me in the office that I'm working in, they will tell you firsthand, I am focused on my job. I am a workaholic. I will, you know, especially when, I used to be on salary, and then they changed it to hourly employees, and you can only work 40 hours. You can't go over. When I was on salary, I would be there at 7 o'clock in the morning when I didn't have to be there till 8. I would get off at 5. Would be my time I was supposed to get off work, but most of the time I stayed there till 7 or 8 because I was so determined to make sure I did my job and I did it right. And I tend to get focused, so I know this resonates with me, and quite possibly if you chose this and it resonates, hey, we're a lot alike, sister. But things are getting better. And, you know, workaholic, especially if that resonates with you, someone who's super driven, super focused, gets to the point of obsessed is what it is. And it's considered shadow. It's considered something that's not really, you know, good. You know, not a good thing to be. Because then you lose focus with time, with family, with other things that matter to you. But this whole spread here is letting me know that things are going to get better. You're going to get more balance. You have the Four of Wands here. So things are going to ease up. You're going to get more balanced and stable for that. You have 2 wands. Actually, it's 4, 4, 4. So that's interesting. You're definitely going to find stability here. So we have the number 11. Take off your masks. And that's funny because we have the number 11 and the Four of Wands for twin flames. Of course, this is shadow healing. We're not doing a twin flame reading, but Interesting, it's the 1111 card. But anyways, so take off your masks. So it's time to be yourself. Show the world what you're made of, who you can be, what your talents are. Don't be ashamed. Don't hold back. You know, I'm hearing that you need to go enjoy yourself. You with the ballet slippers and the mask, you may be into fine arts. Go do it. Go watch a ballet. Go watch a um, whatever, a theater, you know. Go do something. Take an art class. Do something to help yourself unwind. Something creative and wonderful. We have sanctuary. Take time out from the world. Spend more time alone, meditate, or go on retreat. Do something for yourself. Do something that helps relieve that energy, that drive to help yourself become more balanced. I know when I come home, my home is my sanctuary. It is peaceful. It is so peaceful in my tiny little house that even when family members come over, they're like, oh my God, it just feels so good in here. I could just go to sleep in here. It's because I'm constantly meditating. I'm constantly got vibrational, binaural beats playing. I burn sage, I burn tobacco. I don't smoke, but tobacco is good for ancestors and everything like that. So, and I have all these crystals. You should see my house. It is so full of crystals. It's crazy. My favorite, in case you wondered, is malachite. So, then we have, in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So your energy is going to become more high vibrational. You know that workaholic, obsessed is actually a low vibrational energy. As you find your peace within through your sanctuary, whether that's with your home or sometimes for me, I go walking out in the woods, I find peace listening to the birds, listening to the wind through the trees, listening to water trickling down a creek. Those things help me find balance. And also, I'm very artistic. I do a lot of art drawing. I sketch with charcoal. I oil paint. I do oil and acrylic. And my daughters get that from me. So those things help me relax. Those are ideas that can help you too. And as you do that, you'll raise your vibration. My vibes speak louder than my words. So start paying attention. I bet when you walk in a room, your whole energy, your whole vibration changes the energy in a room. Watch, I bet it will. Love is never in vain. When you finally see what this whole time space thing is all about, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to be so happy you loved as much as you did. Dotingly, the universe. Those you love you. To be beautiful in the eyes of another, simply forget they're watching. Tally ho, the universe. Truth. See there? Look. You've got two of these where you're taking off your mask. Look. Be yourself. Be true. Be you. Be authentic. It's okay to be the weird one. Trust me. I embrace being the weird one. I work in a Christian hospital. I am a spiritual type of person. I'm not a religious person. I'm not Christian per se. I'm not any type of any type of religion. I was raised Christian, but I practice a craft. I do read tarot. I help healing, deep trauma healing. I help with being a light in the darkness, and I enjoy that. And a lot of people find me extremely weird. Some people find me to be eccentric. And when someone calls me eccentric, I find that to be a very high compliment. I like that. So be authentic and be you, be true. Be authentic to yourself. We have retreat. Again, from a different card, where's that one? Sanctuary. To me, that's the same as having a retreat. Find your peace. Find what makes you at peace. So thank you so much. I hope this resonated with you. Many, many blessings. This was a message that I'm going to have to, because I had channeled for myself. I'm going to have to go back and watch this after it gets posted so I can see what my own advice is. Thank you so much. Many blessings. I love each and every one of you. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4. If you chose this stone, this is the Moonstone. What it is, a shimmering protective talisman for travelers since way back. Moonstone is a dreamy white to peach-hued feldspar, mineral for gazers of sky and soul. Who needs it? All you earth goddesses out there, and the people you keep around who need to work on their empathy, patience, and intuition. Where to put it? On your bedside table, in your overnight bag with your passport and eye mask. When to use it? Under a new moon. Use it to set intentions that align with your purest, life-affirming, inner child nurturing calling. Under a full moon, Moonstone belongs in the bedroom, wherever you get down. Find your natural rhythm. I love Moonstone. Here is my Moonstone here. This is one of my Moonstones. It's not my favorite one, but it's one of them. It's hard for me to find all my stones because my cat Nix likes to run off with some of my stones. The pile number 3, I didn't have a stone for the bloodstone because she has confiscated it. So, Moonstone, just an added extra little thing. Those of you who've been with me for a while know that back in 2000, was it 17? 2018, I had on in bulk, I had done some fertility rituals because my daughter was wanting to get pregnant. Unfortunately, I failed to mention which daughter wanted to get pregnant. And of course, it was Moonstone I was working with. And come to find out, both my daughters ended up having little boys in 2019, and so did my nephew's girlfriend. So we have all boys, all born in 2019. Bam, bam, bam. So Moonstone is an amazing stone to work with when it comes to setting intentions. Okay, let's see, what are your weeds? What is your shadow work? Now remember, at the beginning you probably may have just hit your timestamp and went along with it, but weeds are actually not just something to cut down. Weeds are actually beneficial. You can use them for inflammation or anything else. They're great for different healing. They're great for spiritual work. Just like your shadow is not something bad. You have to learn to embrace your dark and your light. So let's see what we have to work with here. We have the number 20, Downcast Pride. The number 1, Meant for You. Number 42, which breaks into the number 6, Ghosts of the Past. The past returns for a time. We have the number 1, Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch. Count your blessings. Number 16, which breaks into number 7, Angel de los Muertos. Transitions to the spirit realm. We have Strength. 9 of Wands. Seven of Pentacles. Now these cards I'm just going to set to the side and we'll get to these later. Okay. So, number 20 can break into the number 2. This is downcast pride. So, this card talks about where, where you say no when you really want to say yes, or when you say, yeah, I'll do it, I'll help, when you really don't want to. It's where you keep putting yourself on the back burner for other people. It's where you put other people ahead of yourself. This is something typical moms do. We tend to put our children's needs above our own. Sometimes, our kids grow up and then we look back and think, oh, wow, we look at ourselves in the mirror like, who is this person? I don't even recognize this person anymore. I've gained all this weight. I've let go of myself. Is that type of energy. I'm not saying you're a mom who did that. It's just the similar type of energy. It's where you have lost yourself in other people's needs. You've put yourself on a back burner. You've made yourself where you're not as important as someone else's needs. You're not as important. And then it becomes a way of life. You do it a couple times, then it leads over and over again to where it becomes habitual, and then it's just where you've lost yourself. Meant for you. Now, this is similar to the Magician in the regular tarot, as in creating, manifesting what your intentions are. But this goes further. It talks about how what's meant for you will always find a way. You have things, you have desires for yourself. It's like that you've put on the back burner. You've had ideas. You've had things you've wanted to do, whether that's go to college and you had to put it on the back burner till you raised your kids, right? Or you had dreams, like you went to college to be a profession of some sort, and you put it on the back burner for your husband or your spouse or your wife or whatever. You put others' dreams before your own. And it's gotten you in a position where you've been like set aside, and now you wonder, wow, what happened to my dreams? And this card meant for you lets you know that's what meant for you will find a way. You can still do what you want to do. It's never too late to manifest your dreams. It's never too late. And quite possibly this shadow of yourself. The shadow of yourself is your shadow work. Who you used to be, who you always stood for, is your shadow. It's like you've separated from yourself. And you're trying to find yourself again. And Spirit is saying that here you are. So we have these cards here. Ghost of the Past, Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch, and Angel de los Muertos. So, Ghost of the Past. This talks about people from your past coming back in, like old boyfriends, old friends, old situations, reoccurring, representing themselves in a different way, in a different form, or even an ex-boyfriend is actually sending you a text out of nowhere like, hey babe, what have you been doing? A long time no see, And the whole purpose for these situations, these people, to come up from your past is so it gives you a way of looking back and saying where you used to be and what you can become. You have decision to make. Do you want to be what you've become, or do you want to be what you always wanted to be? And what you don't realize is that even though you're not where you wanted to be, sometimes we're not where we want to be. We're not, we're not the person we always thought we'd be. However, that saying, all roads lead to Rome, right? What's meant for you, you're going to find a way there. You may have taken a detour, but you're still going to get there. You can still get there. You can still do it. We have Ghost of Pumpkin Patch. Count your blessings. Yeah, you may have become a ghost of your former self, but look around you. Especially if you resonate as someone like what I'm seeing in my head with the mother situation, where, you're like, oh, I've just lost myself. I've let myself go for my kids, my family. I'm just not the same. And I wanted so bad to go back to college. I really wanted to have my own business. I wanted to create my own fashion line. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. And now I'm a tired mom, a tired grandma, whatever. And this card tells you, take a look around. Look at all the blessings you have. Yes, you sacrificed a lot, but your sacrifices have gotten you a lot farther than you're realizing. You're looking more at what you've lost and not at what you've gained. However, you are in transition, okay? There are changes. There's things that's ended in your life that's ended for a reason. And these things that's ended, it may hurt. Any time you transition, it is painful. Transition has to do, it's like a birth. So you have to end one situation to begin a new one. And it's like giving birth. It's nasty, it's messy, and it's painful. Okay? But that child has to end the situation of being in your womb to transition into breathing and having life outside of the womb. It's a transition. And any transition is like that. It's nasty, it's messy, and it's painful. But it's a blessing. It is a blessing. And yes, you may feel like you lost yourself, but guess what? You are stronger than what you know. You have conquered many demons in your life. You are fierce. You are a warrior. Nine of Wands. You have overcome so much. You've been there for other people when they needed there. You are the ride and die. No matter what situation faced you, your family, your loved ones, you were like a brick wall. No one was going to make it through you to damage anyone that you love, anything you love, or anything. You always worked hard. You have worked hard. Yes, you made a lot of sacrifices, and you may feel like now you're a ghost of your former self, but you're not. You're actually an improved version of your former self. Yes, you may have put yourself on the back burner, but you have gained so much knowledge in your life that you can use for compassion of other people, for compassions of people's situations. You can now do what it was your dreams was. Whatever is resurfacing for you that you want to do, you can do it. You can. Spirit is saying the road is open for you now. You have succeeded in other ventures in your life. You made those choices, and now you got blessings from it. You've birthed blessings, okay? We have the number 10, pay attention to signs. So you may, for example, we're continuing on this little back to school little thing. You may have seen, you may have thought, oh, I can't afford that. I don't have the money to go back to school. You know, we're paying for kids' tuition. But then you see an ad on TV that reminds you that you want to go to school. You can go to DeVry, whatever. I'm just using that as an example. You know, you can do online classes. You know, you may be at the grocery store and you hear someone talking about financial assistance. You didn't hear it just to hear it. It was a sign. I don't believe in coincidences. There's own signs and synchronicities. You have to pay attention. You may be driving down the interstate and there's a great big billboard. Go back to college. Guess what? There's your sign in a great big black and white, driving down the interstate. Follow your signs. Number 18, say what you mean. Remember what I was talking about with this one? Where you may have said yes when you wanted to say no. You might have said no when you wanted to say yes. Mean what you say. It's time. You've done these things. Now it's time for you to take time for yourself. It's time for you to do what you want to do. And it's time for you to take up for your dreams and your values and what you want. Receive. Be open to receiving goodness. Believe you are worthy of abundance. A gift is coming to you soon. Believe it and you can do it. My fearless freedom lights up the world. Happiness is my birthright. Those are amazing affirmations that you can say to yourself. Get up every morning and remind yourself, happiness is my birthright. I know that was a little too aggressive to put my point across, but happiness is your birthright. If they once loved you, they still do. You know, your family's not going to stop loving you just because you decide to go for your dreams. You supported them. Now it's time for them to support you. Thanks for every single time you ever fell in love. Whether or not it was obvious, whether or not it lasted, and whether or not you were loved back. It changed everything. Actually, you're always loved back. You changer the universe. Love those things. We have reflection. So, I love this card, and it's like, so the world, oh, sorry, just a minute, my cat. Sorry about that. Here she comes again. It's time for me to hold her. It's her holding time. She needs cuddle times. So reflection talks about understanding your own needs. Sometimes you have to separate from the pack, get a little distance, so you can stop and evaluate, okay, I'm constantly worried about my pack's needs, what they're, here, let me pick up my cat. Hello, Nix. Hi, baby. So, as I was saying, try to do this two-handed because I'm holding my baby. She says it's cuddle time. So, this talks about sometimes you have to separate from the pack temporarily just so you can realize what are your values, what is it you want to do, what is it that you need and what you require. Doesn't mean separate from them permanently. You know, packs don't separate permanently. They stick together through thick and thin, but sometimes you need to, you know, value what you need. We have unconditional love. It's that motherly energy. I love that card. There's unconditional love between you and your pack. It's going to work out. Everything's going to be okay. They're all going to be understanding. And I really believe that when you realize what you want and what your dreams are, and you decide to actually go after them, they're going to stand behind you. They're thick and thin, just like you did for them. Whatever the situation is. Thank you so much for watching. I was going to go like this. I got my cat in my hands. So thank you so much for watching. Many, many blessings. Namaste. I love you all.